Hey folks, we're getting into what I hope and what I believe is the last video for week number 1, the first week in English 1301. Remember, you'll want a piece of paper, pen, something to write with, because I will be asking a few questions that you'll want to answer in the email to me that I've mentioned in the previous videos. So if you haven't, make sure that you watch the video that's related to the syllabus and the major points on the syllabus. Definitely take some extra time to go through the syllabus slowly, think about it, let me know if you have questions. There's also a video about the discussion post rubric and those assignment guidelines and expectations. And then there's another video where I just kind of walk you through the different areas of D2L that we'll utilize in the course. And within some of those videos, there are questions. So make sure that you have those collected. By my count, we have 4 questions already, and there will be a couple in this last video. So what I'm going to do is what I will plan to do just about every week, unless something comes up where I don't have a video for you. I'm just going to walk you through what's on the agenda for this week, where to go, what to do. Okay, so I think the best place to start is always going to be the syllabus, right? So if we look at our syllabus schedule, on Monday it notes, look at the introductory videos, review those, make sure that you are aware that there are often mini assignments in those. The prompt is going to be posted for the writing journal, which is due on Wednesday. And then I note that it's a good thing to begin reading a section of our course text, which is meeting the expectations of academic writing. So that is within pages 35 to 49. And it should be across all the texts that I've mentioned in previous videos and previous posts. That should be the page range for those. And so that's going to be something that you'll need to have read and ready to kind of discuss in the discussion area for Friday's reading response post, okay? And additionally, I ask you to look at the survey assignment and to work on completing that prior to Sunday. I'll touch on this in just a moment, okay? So that's generally on Monday is when I'm going to put prompts up and let you know the assignments for that week, although you will at the end of every week have an idea of what readings are going to be due the following week and a general idea of what's going on, but I'll go into more detail in the videos that I provide. So on Wednesday, you have your writing journal discussion post that's going to be due. All due times are going to be 11:59 p.m. So just something to keep in mind. I tried 5 p.m. due times at one point. I tried 10 p.m. I tried all these different times, and I've determined, based on a lot of student feedback, that 11:59 is just a good kind of cutoff point. And remember that for assignments, you have a 24-hour grace period should you absolutely need it. It does come with a grade reduction, but again, if you need an extra 24 hours to complete something because you experience some technical issues, you have a family issue, regardless of what that issue may be, just take that 24 hours if you need it. It's much better to take a grade reduction than to take a 0. Okay, so on Wednesday, the reading response discussion prompt will be posted. Again, there will be times when I drop both of those on Monday. Sometimes it just seems very overwhelming, so that first one will be visible on Monday, and the next one will come Wednesday. And then Friday notes the due time and date for the reading response, so it's based on this reading right here, right? Also due by 11:59 p.m. I want you to note that you need to respond to 2 colleagues for your writing journal discussion. So it's going to seem and feel a little bit confusing just because we're at the beginning stages of this, how the different discussions are titled. Don't get too caught up in that. If you're following along with your syllabus, but of course also checking how things are structured in D2L in the content area, then it'll start to become a little bit more clear, right? So for your writing journal discussion that's posted and due on Wednesday, you need to go back in and respond to 2 people. Now, for the start, this is just a general response, letting people know that you're out there, that you're listening, that you're enjoying what you read, or you can relate to what they read, right? Once we get more into the content of our class, then you need to respond based on your knowledge of what we've read and discussed and what the original author is bringing to the text, right? So you want to make sure that on Friday you not only post your reading response, but also make sure that by Friday you have responded to 2 colleagues. And all of this you can work ahead of time, of course. Just your schedule is your schedule, so work at your own pace. There were rarely times when we have to meet face to face, via WebEx, and that's for our consultations much later in the semester, so not to worry too much about that. I do have the link for the survey here, and y'all, this is just a survey to help me get an idea of what your experiences are going to be in this semester, what may be a difficult aspect of what you're going through, and just a little bit about you. So the SurveyMonkey survey is just, it's confidential. I'm the only one who's going to read it. But of course, you don't need to answer anything that you're not comfortable with. This is, again, just for me to understand what you are experiencing moving forward. Okay, so it's going to ask you for things like your name. It'll ask you if you have a preferred nickname. I would love to know that. That's something that you should be sharing in the writing journal for this week that's due on Wednesday, but it's good to reiterate here because then I have a record of it and I can go back and look at these things. I've also asked you to really offer some specifics about your identity. So I want to ensure that you are feeling seen and heard and respected. So I've asked you to identify your gender and pronoun here, but then I also have asked you for information about your race or ethnic identities. Again, you can always prefer not to share. That's okay. I don't want you to feel forced into this information. That's not my purpose, is just to understand more. After viewing the syllabus and video, what are potential questions or concerns you have? So after you go through everything for this week, what are you still feeling a little unsettled about, or do you have questions? And then I really need to know what you're dealing with in terms of technology. Are you in a place where you're awesome, you have a really great working laptop or computer? Or are you dealing with a computer that maybe is older and maybe not as reliable? I just need to kind of get a sense of that because, again, it just helps me understand my student experiences. So it's very helpful. And then there are also some options about internet, so a lot of us are working from home and have a family or friends who are with us working from home as well, so that can affect our internet. Or we don't have reliable access to the internet. So again, it just helps me understand how reliable is your technology, what are general concerns about that you have about being successful in the course, what inside of school is concerning to you, what outside of school is concerning to you. So this is just a place for you to kind of think about what are some things that could impact your success in the course, and to share whatever you're comfortable with, with me. What responsibilities do you have outside of your class? And then other than, our class, right, together with me, how many courses are you taking and in what format? So it's just a quick, I say quick, it's a 10-question survey. Some of the responses will take you a little bit longer. So just make sure you're planning ahead time to finish that. And please make sure that you, at the top, are including your name so that I can ensure that you receive a grade for completing this, okay? So in going back to the syllabus, you can see the points value for these different assignments here, but of course you will always see that in the grade book once I start posting grades. And then I also have a section at the bottom for each week that kind of gives you an idea of what to look for next week. So for next week, you need to read What is Academic Writing by Irvin, and that's posted in the content area, which we visited in the last video. And then read What's Your Style, and that's in our course text. Okay, so look for this title if you're using the e-version, and look for this page range if you have the print version. Okay, so that's just a glance at how to read our syllabus schedule, but also what the expectations are for this particular week. So if you go back to D2L and take a look at our class area, I want you to always look at the announcements, right? Because sometimes I'll have a little note here or there about different things for this week. But then your go-to next is always going to be content. Okay, so up here, click content. And remember, if you have this area selected, you're not going to see this week. Okay, so don't freak out if you open this and you're going, oh, where's the week's assignments? Don't worry, it's just D2L being D2L. So you may see this, and remember, this is where all of that good stuff is located from the last video. But you'll want to go to the table of contents area right here, right? And then click on week 1. Okay, the table of contents just has everything kind of collapsed, but if you click on the actual week, you get more detail. And remember, as I mentioned last time, you have these check marks, okay? So one additional question I would like you to answer in the email to me is, where do I go at the start of each week to see all that needs to be done in that week? Okay, so it's the content area, right? And you want to go to the actual week to see all that information. So you'll see I have the video for the walkthrough for the syllabus, and then I have the actual copy of the syllabus. There's the discussion rubric, the discussion post rubric video, and then the online discussion post rubric. Okay. There's the introduction to navigating D2L, so all the different places to go, you know, just generally in the class. And then it gets into our weekly discussions, right? And that's kind of where I want to spend a little time so you're moving in the right direction. So week one's writing journal, which is due on Wednesday. This is just kind of getting to know you a little bit, right? So, you know, I offer you some information, and I'm going to say this once and I'll say it again. It's a really good idea to use something like Microsoft Word to draft your responses, because there are times when D2L will time out and it will kick you off the program and you won't have the opportunity to save your work and it's all lost. There are times your internet will go down, and it's just good to have, you know, the draft so that you can work through it and make sure you're taking the time to revise and edit before you submit. So keeping that, you know, in a saved document somewhere is always a good idea, okay? So make sure you're proofreading, okay? So answer each part of the prompt fully, right? And I put, you know, for this entry, you may want to just number like I have here. That's fine, because you don't want to indent just yet for paragraphs, because tab will take you to a different place. Don't worry about that just yet. What's your name and your nickname? How long have you been a student? So it's just asking some general questions so we can kind of get to know one another, even though we're in an online environment and we're not seeing each other face to face. So I am going to post my response there, so that you can kind of get an idea of what to do and where to go. You certainly do not have to respond to my introduction. That's okay. It's just me putting some of my own information in there to share, but also kind of showing you what to do. So what you want to do is click Start a New Thread. Okay. For the subject line, y'all, please use your name. Okay, it helps with the grading, and it helps us just make sure we're keeping the person in mind. So I'm just going to put Dr. E, week one, writing journal. Okay, and in here I would just, you know, write my responses, okay, to all these, and I would just number them and make sure I'm revising and editing, and then I would click post. So that's how you do a discussion post in D2L. And in the bottom I have some reminders, right? Your response is due Wednesday by midnight or just before. Your responses to 2 colleagues are due by Friday. And then another link to that survey, okay? So if I go back to the content area of D2L, then I also will have the week one reading response. Okay, so that's going to be based on the meeting the expectations of academic writing. When you have a chance, and this is open and visible, I mean, you can see it right now, you can pause it, take a look at it. It will be visible on Wednesday starting at 8 a.m. If you have questions about any of the assignments, just let me know. But remember, a good place to start when you have questions is going to be in discussions, right? In the Q&A area. Right, this is just a great way for us to have a conversation outside of those main discussion posts, because again, if you have that question, other people are going to have the question. So it's a good idea to just start the conversation here. Remember that I also have office hours. They may be kind of sketchy the first week because I'm working to get things done, but I'm going to do my best to be there and to figure out this WebEx thing that I mentioned in a previous video. So that's my last question for the email, right? How are office hours held? So remember that it's either in the instant messages feature, right? And you find me there. Or if you go to collaboration and go to WebEx, that's where we can meet face-to-face depending on the day, right? Because remember, depending on the day, I may just have the instant message office hours, or I may have the video one. So once I get all of that figured out, I will certainly update y'all. I don't mean to start off with a little bit of confusion, but such is the nature of D2L sometimes. But I'm really looking forward to this semester. Y'all are going to do so great. Just keep me posted if you have any questions. All right, good luck.